Hey, so as you can see behind me, kind of moving. So I know I had an ambitious streaming plan, but this wasn't the only thing that got in the way of it. I actually started dropping about a quarter to a fifth of my frames when I streamed Speed Dating for Ghosts. I still posted it because there wasn't a lot of like movement in the game. It was kind of a story game. You can check it out if you want to speed date some ghosts with me, Nickfil. Uh, but anyway, moving into a new apartment with fiber optic internet. So we're going to be streaming again soon. But for now, we're going to be making some YouTube content. This video is going to be a little different because I kind of screwed up the audio when I shot it. So I added the audio in post and then edited a lot of things down. So what took about an hour and a half only is taking about a half an hour. If you want any parts slowed down or you want to talk about anything in the video that you couldn't really follow, feel free to leave a comment and I will respond back as quick as I can. Until then, enjoy, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not gonna, okay, just watch the video, which is what we're doing now. So let's attack this cover. This cover by Jeremy Haun. So this cover is super spooky. It's got like guy with tentacles and it's Lovecraftian, and so we want to kind of lean into that, lean into like a big mood. We want to also keep in mind, as we do with all covers, that we want it to be recognizable from a distance across a comic convention or across a comic store or on a news rack or wherever it is. You want the comic book to be readable, very, very small, as well as very, very large. We can check out the previous cover that we did because no cover exists in a vacuum. Let's look at issue 1 here. This is issue 1 next to our other cover. Now we want to be paying special attention to not make the covers similar. If we make the covers too similar, then we run the risk of somebody coming into the shop and being like, do I have that cover already? Do I have the other one? Is this a variant? Like, what is this? So we want to try to avoid this Indiana Jones style, dusty, brown, orange, greenish color scheme that we went with. I think it works really well for the time period that this is set in, but for this cover, we're going to try something a little bit different. So we're just going to keep this open on the side just as a little bit of a reminder for us. So let's jump in here. Obviously you can see there's no flats. I didn't do any flatting for this cover. I'm trying to treat these covers a little more painterly. I'm trying to think more like a painter and less like a comic book artist. And what does that mean? Is that just nonsense? A little bit, but we're also just trying to do, one of the things I'm experimenting with is underpainting. Now what is underpainting? Underpainting is literally putting color down on the canvas before you start to color it. It's color beneath color. And the reason that I think this is something I wanted to explore is because I think that it will add complexity to the color. If you're using brushes that are at like half opacity or even 70-80% opacity, you're going to get some color variation in there that you don't necessarily expect. So what I'm doing right now is just kind of laying down some underpaintings. So I'm going to end up tweaking this later, so I'm not really worried about picking the quote-unquote right color. I'm just trying to put down ideas and see if this works. But again, this is all new. This is me just kind of messing around. And, obviously this like blue that I'm putting down isn't really working right, and he's got a weird orange and yellow face, and this is like out of control, but I don't know. Okay, let's test to see if we can alter this to get it to like a workable space. Let's just select his face. I guess we're gonna try to slide it to like a warmer spot, but that's not really working. Let's throw a grad through it, I guess. I don't know. I can see you guys being skeptical. I can see you being skeptical at home. You're looking at this and you're like, Nick Filardi has lost his mind. He is no longer even our fifth favorite colorist. No longer. I don't know. We're trying an idea. Okay, that's the point. We're trying to be spontaneous and we're trying to use this as an opportunity to learn. And if we learn that this is terrible, it's not that big of a deal. We're using a bunch of colors that we would not normally use, and we're using a bunch of mixtures that we would not normally use. So, you know, getting out of the comfort zone. All right, we're starting to approach a comfortable space now. If we make like a straightforward cover, if we make like a skin tone peach kind of thing, if we make a jacket brown kind of thing, we run the risk of ending up in the same space as the issue 1 cover. And this is the struggle for this particular cover. This is the thing that we're trying to avoid. It's easy to end up in a very literal space for color. As I give him Crayola brown hair, you know, I'm talking about not doing literal color, but here we are. I'm still into this, but it doesn't look good yet. We're gonna square peg round hole this thing. We're gonna hit it with a crowbar until it fits into the hole. We're gonna get there, I promise you. You know what? Let's just caution to the wind. Like, let's just hit it with blue. Let's lean into the fact that it's real weird. Maybe blue is the answer. Maybe it was blue the whole time. Maybe he's a little blue because he's a little bit weird. All right, so this looks awful. Maybe we do have to do it straightforward. I don't know. I'm wavering. Okay, I think the thing that's throwing me off is the hair. But you know what? We're just going to roll with what we have. Because, you know, like color is about a conversation between colors. And I think that the thing that is going on right now is that we have color in one space that isn't working well with other colors in the other spaces, and like his shirt and his jacket and stuff like that. We don't have anything down there yet. We don't have an idea of what we want. So I think I'm just going to keep going with what we have. And I think we're going to try to unify the palette in the end. Like, we're going to do all the rendering, and then we're going to unify the palette. I don't know where we're going to end up with this. We're going to try to get it to a place where it's workable. So I guess stick around and see if we make this into a workable piece. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if we're going to get to the end of the video and it's going to be a like come to God, like everybody's partying, like the piece is successful, Gritty's there and he's just like pounding brews and like, you know, it's just an incredible party, you know, city happening, or we get to the end of the video and like, you know, we find ourselves in a very, very dank, sad bar and we're 17 drinks in and we're just wondering how we got there, and Gritty's there at the end of the bar and he's just punching a guy. You know, I don't know where we're gonna end up, but we're gonna try to get to the good place. We're gonna try to get to the good place. the thing is that I'm working in reverse to how I normally do things. Usually I figure out the palette and then I figure out the rendering. And the way that I'm working now is I'm figuring out the rendering and then I'm figuring out the palette. So this is going to be weird. So we're going to work on the jacket. I kind of want the jacket to be gray, to be different than the previous cover. She has a brown jacket in that, but we're gonna put some red in there because I want a diversity of color. I want a painterly kind of situation. So we're gonna have some reds and golds in there, but we're gonna try to make it into a space that's more gray. So here's the thing: we want you in the face. Like, we don't, as we move through the figure and through the pants and everything, like, I don't care about pants. Like, let's be perfectly clear. Nobody cares about pants. And so because society as a whole does not care for pants, we want to make sure that the rendering on the pants is very, very minimal. And the rendering on the chair is like kind of minimal. So this is one of the advantages to like attacking this in like a painterly way. We can kind of like pick our battles a little bit better. Like, if this was flatted, we would have to really get in there with every single detail and every single thing. But because it's painterly, we can kind of like gesture some stuff in. So as you see with like the chair here, like you see the needle jumping around like that. Like, we have a little bit of interesting color interactions going on. We have a little bit of aqua in this like brown chair. I mean, they're both desaturated, but you see the needle jumping around for the hue, and like that's what I'm looking for. I know it doesn't look like much. It looks like just a beigey chair, but I think that this will come through in the end. So I'm not thrilled with the skin tones, but we're gonna use the same ones for the hands. The thing is that when I try to unify this thing at the end, I'm gonna, the skin is gonna have to match. So even though I'm a little bit medium on the skin, it needs to be consistent through the project, through the cover. Now I know, like, we're at the point where like none of this is working, and you would be forgiven if you saw this and you were like, he does this professionally, like for money. People give him currency in exchange for this service. But look, we're gonna get there. We have to trust the process. But the advantage of like getting out of your comfort zone and trying stuff like this, this doesn't look good right now, but we're trying something out, and it's a cover, so it's not like we're halfway through an issue, 10 pages in, we've lost 3 days or something like that. Like, we don't have to finish an issue, realize it doesn't work, and then we're on the hook to do this for the next issue and the next issue for consistency's sake. Working on a cover, it's really good to stretch your legs on covers. It's really good to like just try new things. You can try new things. I mean, we've only been working on this in real time for like 27 minutes. And so you can, like, if at the end of this I'm like, this isn't really working, or you get 27 minutes in and you're like, this isn't really working, you've only lost half an hour. It's not a big deal. You can easily make that up. So try things, get out of your comfort zone, and we'll figure out how to fix it. We're gonna fix getting out of our comfort zone. Jeremy left these like little halos around the entire figure, so we're gonna try to lean into that in order to pop the figure a little bit. I don't know if we're really doing that right now in this moment, but we're gonna try to. It's something to keep in mind. I mean, this is kind of looking okay. I don't know. I can't tell if it's, what is it called? Stockholm syndrome? I can't tell if I've fallen in love with my captor or not at this point. I don't like it, but I don't not like it. There's stuff to love in here. So as you can tell, this is a pretty big Lovecraftian vibe, and tentacles are always green and that kind of stuff. So we want to just try to do something else, something not green. So we're gonna paint in a little bit of red in there. I am a little bit worried about adding this reddish and ending up in like the same space as the previous cover, but you know, we'll see. We'll try to make it work. So we're trying to do this highlight on the tentacles, and I'm trying to figure this out. And I think that the problem that we're having is that maybe the tentacles are in this like weird middle ground where they're not exactly dark and they're not exactly light. So we're adding highlights to it, and the highlights aren't working as well. And the highlights aren't working as well because we're highlighting something that's middle ground rather than dark. So let's darken it up, and then let's add some highlights. All right, so the important part with like adding highlights like this, especially with like confusing shapes, is to like get the silhouette to read correctly. You want the shape and the volume to work right, and so that's kind of a priority as we're adding highlights on here. And like I said before, where Jeremy has left halos, we're going to try to lean into what he's put down and make the silhouette legible. Okay, let's try to unify this palette. We're doing the old the thing that Bob Ross taught us, which is his famous quote, "F around and find out," which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to f around and then we're going to find out. I don't think he actually said that. All right. So this is kind of what I was thinking. We're doing like a hard light layer above this, and we're just figuring out. We're just playing with sliders until we get to a place that we enjoy. And we want to keep in mind, we don't want it to look like the other cover. So like, I like this, but look at this. It's like way too close to each other. It's way too similar. And once we start to like pop highlights and stuff, it's just like, it looks the same. So we got to change it. Maybe a blue? Although there is a blue in this cover as well, so a hard blue on the bottom. Maybe like lean it purple? Maybe. I know everybody hates purple, but like maybe purple is our savior. Maybe purple will get us there. Let's see if we can dial it in a little bit more. So yeah, I think we're going for this weird purple. We're going to try to dial it in a little better, push-pull stuff in some details, but let's play around just a little bit more. I think we can like get this looking just slightly better. I think purple is the best place for us to live right now. It's the only color that's really absent from the other cover. So if we do something predominantly purple, it will look very different from the previous issue. The previous issue, we can get rid of it. The previous issue is very blue, orange, tan, brown, kind of like vibe going on, and a little bit of green. And that's the thing, the thing is green. So yeah, we can get into this. So we're gonna go with purple. We're gonna play with the levels a little bit, try to make the highlights come out a little bit more. Try to make it like read a little bit better. Trying to figure out where we're at. I'm just trying to like, mess with the sliders in a way where we kind of like nudge it 1% better, 1% better, like fine tuning the palette and fine tuning exactly what's going on. Is this 0.5% better? Is this 0.5% worse? Just messing around with it. Okay. I think the background is going to be the thing that is a pretty big piece of the puzzle. So the background obviously needs to be tweaked. Like I was saying before, color is a conversation. And so the background here is like a desaturated rainbow right now, and we don't want that. So I think once we are able to kind of figure out what's going on with the background, there isn't a lot of place to render. There's not a lot for our colors to do with a background like this. It's going to be basically one color. We're probably going to put down like an 80% fill to just kind of like keep a little bit of variation, but also make it a more like unified color. Maybe a weird pink or purple or something. My impulse for the background is to make it like a yellow, like get opposite on the color wheel, purple guy, yellow background, but it might be like too bright. I don't want to end up in a place where we're making a basketball logo. Like it's like bright purple, bright yellow, and we're suddenly the LA Lakers or something like that. This is a spooky cover. We want to lean in to the spooks. All right, let's play with the slider. Ooh, a little bit of purple red. Okay, so this looks good, but it is so red that it's making the skin tones look weird. Now, are the skin tones salvageable? Are the skin tones salvageable? We're gonna find out. All right, let's also figure out the tentacles. I feel like that's the other piece that's bothering me. We don't want to go this full red. Maybe that background's too loud. Maybe it's competing. Oh yeah, look at this. Okay, man. The background was way too loud. We needed to chill the background out, and in order to pull focus. And I'm really glad that we have ended up in this space now, because, oh man, I thought we were gonna have to scrap this thing. But I think we can figure it out from here. Little refinements. I think the hair is looking weird. We can do like, maybe we'll do black hair instead. The thing is that I don't know who this character is, and so I don't know what the character's hair color actually is. So we'll see what happens with corrections. I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. I'll dictate the process. His black hair's black now. Everybody's going to make his hair black now. My cover has spoken. So we gotta figure out how to get the hair to not fold into the background. We're doing a dark background, dark hair, so we need to pop the highlights a little bit and make his silhouette readable. So you can see now where we've ended up. Like, we've made a lot of like weird choices, and it's led us to a place where, you know, it's a lot of colors that I wouldn't have picked for a skin tone, but it's all over the map, and it like kind of works well. It's a conversation. We also kind of want to make him, we're putting in some details here, and we want to make him a little sick looking, which is why we did a little red around the eyes. We're probably going to do like a little bit of green or yellow in his cheeks and stuff. And let's lean into this purple weirdness and like kind of get like a little bit of purple light happening. So if we go in here and colorize some of the line art in his face, it might accidentally make him a little younger, but we're going to try it anyway, because I think that it'll make it read as wrinkles a little bit better and not like cracks in his face. This guy, this guy is he looks like he'd be weird to talk to. He looks like the guy who would be like at a party, and he's on an illicit substance, and he corners you and he just starts talking about nonsense, and you're just like, oh god, I'm in the wrong place. I need to get out of here. I need to eject. I think that we just need to bite the bullet and color these tentacles in a like more slowly. We need to take our time, and we need to think about them. They're weird shapes, and I don't think we can just gesture them in. A lot of art is about like figuring out what you can rush through, and not rush through, but like figure out what's gestural. What are the big strokes? How do you get started? We start very loose and we end up very tight at the end, and I think that's what needs to happen on these. I think all the mark making that we were doing just like wasn't cutting it, and we just need to slow down and really figure out what these things need. These weird shapes. Hey, by the way, I know like at the beginning of this pandemic, I was, especially on Twitter, very vocal about like, now's the time, seize the day, you're quarantined, make that comic book. And one of the things that I didn't think was going to happen with me is that my productivity turned to sludge. A lot of days feel like just kind of like wading through a big thing of molasses. I used to get like 4 or 5 pages done a day, and I'm down to like maybe averaging 2 or 3. And I think that's normal. And in talking to a lot of other artists, I think that's normal. So if you're like, oh man, I didn't get my great comic book done, like, don't beat yourself up. Like, obviously, do try to be a better person, and do try to, everything going on in the world, and do what you can, like, but don't beat yourself up if you weren't able to, like Shakespeare, write an entire play. He wrote The Tempest, I can't remember, but he wrote a play in quarantine, and, do what you can do what you can manage. I know that times are really tough right now, so yeah, just try to be the best version of yourself, and do what you can. All right, so I think it's done. It looks like it's done. I'm gonna send it to the team. Whew, I don't know though. Like, we were looking at this thing for an hour and a half. My eyes are betraying me. So we're gonna send it to the team, see what they say, and let me sleep on it a minute and see if I come back with any other ideas. And we'll jump back in, I guess, at the end. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Okay. Team got back to me. Editorial and Jeremy were both like, cover looks great. Let's get it done. But we wouldn't be a crazy person if we just turned it in, right? We should probably make some sort of adjustment to it. So we're going to try to make an adjustment. Here's the cover where we left it off. A lot of good things happening in this cover, but I think there's 2 things that are can be fixed. The first thing is, I think that the glow on the face is just like, it's just a tad too much. I think with some remodeling, especially here, we can make this like look a little bit better. See, like, I kind of like it like that, and then the glow like kind of takes it away. So we're going to work on that. Especially right there. Oh, yeah. We're going to try to amp up the... That's already looking better. I think that we just needed to make that glow like a little bit tighter. Maybe we can warm it up a little. One of the things too is that I didn't really mess with a lot of the under blacks on here. And the reason for that, like what I'm talking about when I say under blacks, is so like this black line is faded to like a little bit of a blue. And if we do this, it's a little bit redder. The reason that I didn't want to mess with that is because I didn't want to mess with this stuff. Like, these lines are very red, but as you see, as I'm like messing with it, they're actually darkening up. So we gotta like fix this stuff as well. just kind of like make it all work right. We may need to like actually paint it in a little bit. Not even flipping down the Cintiq for this. We just want to make it just a tad more subtle. Just a tad. Especially in the highlight. I want to make those highlights like actually work well. We can tweak the side of the nose. And listen, I know full well, this is stuff that only I'm gonna see, that a normal, well-adjusted person would just turn the cover in and be done. But that's not what we're about. That's what we've never been about that. The other thing that I wanted to do, the other piece is, we started putting these glows on these tentacles. Turned out real good, but we missed an opportunity to add like a tiny bit of depth, and that is with this arm of the chair is like so far forward. Like if you think about this thing, now I know there's not going to be a ton of opportunity for depth on this cover because it's just a guy sitting in a chair. However, if you think about trying to create depth in that shallow space, the opportunity for it is right here, right in this arm. So we're gonna try to, first we gotta figure out what color we even used. We used like a purple. This is all the glows that we did. We used this purple, I believe. And we are going to just put a little bit of sauce on this. Look at that. That's actually not a little bit of sauce. It's actually a lot of sauce. All right, and then we're gonna mask it off on the chair rail. So we're gonna try to be as careful as we can with this selection, so that we don't make it too jagged or weird. Okay. So there's that glow. We're gonna select the mask again, and we're gonna try and mask this off. Whoop. Okay, all right. Invert selection, there we go. Okay, all right. So we've created a little bit of depth there. It's looking a little harsh. So we're gonna try to just do like 20% increments. Around it, just like clicking, just kind of dabbing it, making sure that it looks good. Okay, all right. We are going to select, so this is the mask. This is what you're looking at right now. These are the areas that are masked off. In black, what's happening on this layer will not shine through. So I just wanted to select it so that we can make a purple. It's like 180, 0, 60, 60, 160, 0. This is like a blue. Maybe 80, 80. Maybe 80, 100. 60, 100. There we go. There's the good stuff. So we're still using a mixture of 260% ink level. That's like the safe place for color. So we're gonna just kind of get that to work. There's like one other thing that I was kind of thinking about tweaking, and that's the lighting here on the squids, but I don't think we need to do it. I think that's such a small, like the nitpick that I want to make is actually so small that maybe I shouldn't even bother. Yeah, even though we had approval, this is the new one. Let's save it. And let's see where we left it. Here they are side by side with the minor changes. But I feel like his face is slightly more striking, and the chair arm depth is like one little piece that makes for a better overall piece. Like, this is the type of thing that's like not a correction. Like, you'd never get this as a correction because nothing's wrong. But it is like a little bit better. So, you know, there you go. I think this piece is we're going to call it. I think that this piece is done. So we're going to send it off to the team, put it up on the server, and call it a day. Thanks for watching.